Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for checking in. Shamari Show BTV, streaming to you live from Long Island, New York. So I just wanted to come on and talk about my Doordash experience. I signed up for Doordash sometime over the summer. That's depending on when you're seeing this video, over the summer of 2021, sometime in August. Somebody told me about Doordash, so I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Usually during the day, I'm just doing a bunch of stuff related to running my online business. I do some online selling, online reselling. So I'm always doing different things, whether that be thrifting, whether that be buying pallets, breaking down pallets, boxing things, taking photos, all different kind of things. So anyway, somebody told me about the Doordash experience, so I signed up for it back in August, and I did it for a day. I'm kind of glad I did it now because it now gives me content, being that I just started my podcast. So it gives me content to share with my viewers. So I just wanted to talk to you about my experiences with Doordash. Now, I want to set a disclaimer up front. I don't do Doordash full time. So the tips that the guidelines that I set for myself, and the kind of rules that I set for myself, I don't want to, I don't want it to be as if I'm saying that this is what you should do. I'm just saying that these are the things that I set in place for myself to make me feel okay with going about doing it. It's just the way that I wanted to approach it, and I'm just saying that it might not work for everybody. Okay, so I also start off by saying that I live kind of right in the area where there are a lot of stores that offer DoorDash delivery services. So an advantage for me is that I don't even have to leave my house to receive orders to my phone. For people that don't know what DoorDash is, it's a food delivery service. People can place orders to the DoorDash app. DoorDash in turn takes that order. I believe they then place the order with the merchant, and then they send a notification to your cell phone. As an independent driver, they send a notification to your cell phone to give you an opportunity to accept or decline that particular delivery. If you accept it, you go pick up the food, take it to the customer, drop it off, and then they pay you through the app. If you decline it, you wait for another order to come in that you would accept. All right, so like I was saying, I live kind of right in the area where there's a lot of DoorDash traffic. So what was cool for me was that I didn't even have to leave my house to get the order. So my starting point was at home. So I woke up, turned on the app, and then without leaving my house, orders came to my phone. So the order would come to my phone that I wanted to accept. I would accept it, go deliver the order, come back home, wait for the next order. So the great thing about it is that I was still able to do my regular routine. I would just be taking a break from time to time to go make these deliveries, but then still come back and be able to do whatever I'm doing in my house. So that was pretty cool. So I actually set in place some guidelines when I actually started. When I signed up for it, because I had been hearing about it prior to signing up for it, and when the person told me about it, then I went and I looked into it a little bit before I actually signed up. So what I'm gonna be talking a little bit about is some of the guidelines that I set in place. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some orders that I would accept and some orders that I wouldn't accept. So we're going to be talking about stuff like that. And hopefully this will give you an idea of whether it's something. I mean, I any kind of hustle that's out there that somebody can make some money, I would recommend it. So I'm not going to say that. And I think if you check it out and you feel like it's an opportunity that makes sense for you, I think by all means you should go for it. But anyway, let me tell you about some of the guidelines that I set forth for myself in regards to accepting orders and not accepting orders. So some of the guidelines that I set forth for myself, the first one, the most important one to me, was no tip, no trip. So what that means is that typically what'll happen is an order will come in, and DoorDash will give you a base pay for that particular order. Let's say, for example, it's $3. For that delivery, DoorDash is willing to pay you $3. Now the customer, the person that actually placed the order, they have a opportunity to either tip or not tip. If they tip, they can choose whatever the tip amount that they want, or they can choose not to tip at all. So my number one guideline was, if the customer didn't include a tip, then I wouldn't take the order, no matter how much the order cost, because the base, I said the base pay was $3, but depending on the order, it could be higher than that. But regardless of what the order was, I made a decision before I even took any orders that if the customer didn't include a tip, regardless of how close it was to me, regardless of what DoorDash was given, I wouldn't take it. In my mind, I felt like, because I'm an independent contractor, I would need something from both parties for it to make sense for me to take that business. Being that I feel like I'm in the middle of both parties, both of them got to contribute for me to leave the house. The second guideline that I set for myself was, I was looking for a $2 per mile minimum. So for whatever delivery that I chose, the payout would have to be giving me at least $2 per mile, because I always want to factor, I want $1 to go and I want $1 to come back, right? And then the next tip for myself that I set was, I would need a $6 minimum order. So I wouldn't take anything lower than $6. Now mind you, remember, I'm taking all these orders from my house. So like I was saying, this might be different than people that are approaching the app differently, because some people, they leave in their houses and they go in and they waiting in the area where these stores are. So they may be apt to take more orders than I would take, because my acceptance rate, because the way DoorDash works is they go based on acceptance rate, completion rate, and there was something else I forget. Acceptance rate, completion rate, and on time rate or something like that. So the acceptance rate is the amount of orders that you accept out of 100 delivery opportunities. My acceptance rate stays in the teens or lower. So for example, if they send me, that means that, let's say my acceptance rate is 15. That means that out of every 100 orders that they send me, I accept 15 of them. Sometimes it's even less than that, only because there's so many more orders that came through that didn't meet my minimum criteria. So, for example, for every 100 orders, the acceptance rate is how many you accept out of 100. And like I said, my acceptance rate was very, very low. Now, my completion rate was very high, because obviously I completed the ones that I chose. The ones that I selected to take, obviously I completed them. So it was very high. So anyway, like I was saying, no tip, no trip. If the customer didn't include a tip, regardless of how close the delivery was to me, like it could be 0.5 miles, with just the DoorDash base pay, I wouldn't take it. $2 per minimum. And the reason for that is because I figure at minimum I want $1 to go and $1 to come back. So if it's 2.5 miles, the minimum for that would be $5, but I wouldn't take it because my minimum is $6. So that means that if it's $6, the furthest that I would drive is 3 miles or less. All right. So that's something that I had set for myself as far as the minimum trips. So now the way that it would work is, like I was saying, that they would send these delivery options opportunities to your phone. So for example, you would get something like this. I mean, your first you would get a text, and then you would hear a chime on your phone, bing, 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 something like that, and then it'll show you the store. It'll show you the store that the person placed the order from. It'll show you how many items that you're supposed to pick up, and then it'll show you the total miles from your location to the customer's doorstep. So in this case, it was the store was the Cubanita, which is like 0.7 miles away from my house. They want me to pick up 2 items, and they're paying out $7 for it. That's an order that I accepted, because it covers the $2 per mile minimum, and it also covers the $6 minimum order that I accepted. Now, granted, remember now, when that order comes to my phone, I'm at home doing whatever I'm doing. So then I just pause what I'm doing, jump in my car, go drive the 2.7 miles, and then come back to my house. Now, at the same note, this is an order right here. This is an order right here that I wouldn't take, that I declined. So this was to Papa John's. Now, Papa John's is probably a little less than a mile from my house. It's $1. $1. And I mean, it's one item and 2.4 miles total for $4. So that's something that I did not accept. So let me just get rid of this guidelines title. That's something that I did not accept because number one, it's not $2 per mile, and it's not a $6 minimum. So that's something that I felt like I didn't want to do. Oh, something that I didn't do. It's not I felt like it. Another order came in that I did accept, and this was to McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is in the opposite direction, about 1 mile away from my house. So within that 3 miles, a mile of that is to the store from my house. It's for 4 items, and they're offering $7. That's an order that I took that one. So it covers the $2 per mile minimum and the $6 order minimum. So like I was saying, for anybody that feels like they might need something on the side, somebody might want to do this over the weekend. You could definitely make some money if you are a hustler and a grinder. That's definitely something that you could do. So now let me show you an order that I would not take. This now, somebody might see this and they might feel like, wow, this is I was accepting the $7 orders, $7 orders. This is a $16.25 order, but think about the miles, 14.7 miles. Now, my thought process is, being that I'm working from my house and I've got other stuff going on during the day, I'm only willing to take local deliveries. I don't really want to go out of town. At 14.7 miles, I don't remember exactly where it is, but I know it was crossing over several towns. Now, for me, that just didn't, even though the $16.25, somebody might say that's a nice, just under $20. For me, that wasn't something that I wanted to do, because even if you think about 14.7 miles, you factor in traffic, that should take you like a half hour to go and come back. It wasn't, it's too far as as the distance. Now, when you get orders, you could choose to accept them or decline them. If you accept them, then they take you to the map, which then gives you directions to the store. If you decline them, a little drop down comes down, and then they ask you for the reason that you didn't want it. In my case, I would say that the distance is too far, and that's the reason why I would decline that. This is another one that I would decline, $15.50, and this is actually what they call a stacked order. It's a stacked order because if you could look here, right there where it says Popeyes, in parentheses, it shows you 2 orders. So that means that there's 2 customers' orders in this. So in that 15.9 miles, you go into the store and you're picking up 2 orders, and then you're making 2 different drop-offs. That I wouldn't do either, because that's, like I was saying, 15.9 miles. If you think about that, that's like you're crossing over several towns. It just didn't go along with what I was trying to do for my day. I didn't want to be, I wanted to make the quick trips, from the house, drop something off, come back, drop something off, come back, So that's kind of the way I wanted to do it. Now, when I did, like I was saying, I would recommend it to anybody who might feel like they might want to make some extra dough. Just like I would recommend eBay to anybody that might want to make some extra dough. The day that I worked it, I actually made in total $170. Now, if you look at the start time and the end time, I started at 8:59 in the morning, and then I canceled it out. I closed out at 4:35 in the afternoon. Now that shows. Now it shows here active time and dash time. Now dash time is the hours from 8:59 to 4:35. Active time is the actual hours that I'm in my vehicle making the actual deliveries. So the way I look at it is, because of the fact that I'm at home and in between deliveries I'm still able to conduct my own personal business, I feel like I'm getting paid. I reference the 4 hours and 54 minutes versus the 7 hours and 36 minutes. Now, if I was in my car waiting at the hot spots and unable to do anything else other than wait at that hot spot for these DoorDash deliveries to come through, then I would reference the 7 hours and 36 minutes. And this is the reason why I say that my approach is a little bit different than other people's approach, and the decision that I made and the tips that I put in place for myself may not be suitable for somebody else who's approaching it differently. But like I was saying, I made $170. I'll actually divide that into on the 4 hours and 54 minutes. I'll add a little bit more. Let's say I'll add another hour to that, because that only factors in from my house to the drop off to the customer's doorstep. It doesn't factor in the travel time back to my house. So for all those deliveries, 26 deliveries in total is what I did at $170. Now, when you go on YouTube and you listen to people that do it full time, they're actually putting in a lot more hours and they're doing a lot more hustling. So they're making a lot more money than the 170 that I made for that day. I made that 170 with a very, very low acceptance rate. But that also, what that shows you is that it was very busy. There was a lot of orders coming to my phone because I was able to decline way more orders than I accepted. And the screenshots that I showed today was just a few that I picked out. I had a whole bunch of them, but I figured it would be too much to put all of them in there. So out of the 26 deliveries that I accepted, I probably declined about 75 or 74 if we're going to figure 100. And that is probably more than that, because that would be 26%. I was saying my acceptance ratio was in the teens. So I probably declined close to over 100 orders with that 26 that I accepted. Made $170. Like I was saying, I would definitely recommend it to people. If somebody asks me, is DoorDash something that you would recommend for people to do? I would say, listen, man, if you're a grinder, you need some extra bread, I would say definitely sign up for it. Go for it. As far as the process is, they ask you for your driver's license, and they ask you for your insurance. They want to make sure that you have valid insurance, and they want to make sure you have a valid license. The process was pretty simple. It took me probably it took me probably less than 24 hours for them to approve me. And then, it was cool. Like I was saying, the guidelines that I put in place for myself, I don't want to have people feel like that's something that that's something that they have to do themselves, because like I was saying, I do not do it. I don't do it full time. So, and also I was very selective with the orders that I chose. So, like I was saying, that's what works for me. I wouldn't want to say that this is what everybody else should do. But no tip, no trip. If the customer don't add a tip, then regardless of what the pay is, regardless of how close it is to me, I'm not going to deliver it. As an independent contractor, I felt like I would need to get something from both parties for me to make a move. $2 per mile, that's going to be the minimum, is what I'm willing to travel. As far as delivery, I would want a mile to go and a mile to come back. And a $6 minimum order. And with that factored in at $2 per mile, at $6, the furthest I'm willing to go is 3 miles, and then so on and so forth. $2 per mile minimum. So anyway, hopefully that might have gave you guys an idea of how the process works. Gave you an idea of some of the way some of the orders came in. So basically, you sign up for the app. A customer They place an order. Let's say they want to buy something from McDonald's. They'll place that order with DoorDash. DoorDash would then place the order with the merchant, and then they would send you a notification as an independent driver with an opportunity to take that delivery. And if you do accept it, you go, you pick it up, you take it over to the customer, drop it off, get paid. If you decline it, then you wait for the next order to come in. So like I was saying, hopefully that gave you an idea of how DoorDash works, gave you an idea of the experience that I had with them. Dash for a day, baby. Showed you some of the orders that I accepted, some of the orders that I wouldn't accept. But obviously, if it's something that you feel like you want to try, definitely you should sign up, give it a shot for yourself, and see how that works for you. But I'm going to start coming to you I'm going to be trying different things out with the intention of making different content to be able to share that information with you guys. This was a little DoorDash episode. And me personally, like I'm saying, I don't do it full time, but I would never say that I wouldn't do it. Every now and again, I turn the app on, bling, 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 send me a couple of deliveries, man. Make a little $100 here, $100 there. Why not, man? Go for it. Name of the game is the hustle, baby, hustle. Anyway, man, peace out, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Adios.